Today we're going to go ahead and look at the Sig 220. We got buddy Chuke out here letting me go ahead and say hello to it again. I had one of these a long time ago, and I ended up selling it because of an issue I had. I kind of did a scumbag sale. So I sold it with the issue instead of repairing it and then selling it. But it was the purchase that I made after my initial 1911 purchase. So I ended up falling in love with the gun, and I'm kind of wanting to do a comparison with this and my Remington R1, which is the exact pistol that I got in first, and then I got a 220. And so it'll be kind of interesting to go back and confirm whether I was nuts or, if I had a good reason for it. But anyways, it was what I really cut my teeth on the double action with. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and load up one magazine and give them a try. Bless you. So go double action. This has got a really nice decocker, nice and crisp action. And so yeah, I want my iPro because some things do come back and say hello every now and then. So that's that, and now the 1911. So I'm going to try these Remington magazines, which I already noted in a previous video on this pistol. The Remington magazines suck for this specific pistol. I never had an issue with my first one, but it varies. So anyways, that'll be for another video why they kind of suck, but we'll go ahead and get going on this. Okay, so the Sig 220 basically weighs about as much as the 1911, maybe a little bit smaller, but it has less recoil than the 1911. Of course, I'm using my own reloads, which have a little bit more power, but then actually, that's what I want to test. I want to go ahead and kind of see if I'm losing my mind on this, where... Okay, so we got a factory load, and we got two factory loads, so I don't have my reloads on me. Actually, that's a lie, but I have some arms core, and then which ammo is this?
I don't know what I have. RP,
that's Remington.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and test arms core versus Remington. Remington's got a little less power, as I figured. Armcore actually loads their ammo relatively hot. It's not like NATO ammo for on 90mm, but it's actually pretty hot. It's not bad at all. So if you're looking for relatively inexpensive ammo, Armcore is probably one of the better as far as brass case ammunition is concerned. So anyways, back to the 220. You don't get a lot of rounds. You only get 8 rounds and they go fast. This thing has light recoil. It goes right back on target. The single action is smooth. The double action is smooth, kind of like you're used to with most SIGs. Yeah, so this one has night sights on it. I don't know how well they are, how good they are, and how... It seems like it's had a good amount of rounds through it because of the wear. This is sexy to me. Having this kind of wear on a pistol means that it was actually used. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see a safe queen. You want a pistol that was actually used, particularly SIG. You get it, replace the springs like the recoil spring or whatever. Don't really bother with any of the other springs unless it's actually needed. But this is a nice pistol. The outside still looks fine, which I would end up throwing it around the range in order to give it a little wear.
It's a police trade-in too.
Oh, police trade-in. All right. So, we got a dog visitor. All right. So she's doing good on the range. That's good.
Who do you think wins? Just right off the bat.
Well, the 220 wins. The I mean, as far as like parts and maintaining it, the 220 is going to have less recoil. Of course, you get the double action. A lot of people don't like that. One of the features of the 1911 is a single action, obviously, but I mean, you are going to pay a little bit more than a cheap 1911, but You know, I think the 220 is worth the investment because you can get a lot of police trade-ins right now, and emphasis on right now because it always changes. But I would go with the 220 if you don't want to have to, you know, search and search and search for a reliable 45. But again, there's caveats to everything, and the list is long between these two. Magazines are going to be expensive for both. 220 magazines may be a little hard to find depending on if you're shopping locally or you're doing the smart thing and shopping online.
They have some problems with the larger hollow points too.
Yes, I actually had some problems with that, and that's one of the things. Both of them need to be tested to make sure you have good reliability. You don't have to buy a Wilson Combat necessarily, but things like Arms Corps 1911s are pretty well known, and even if you do have some issues, they take care of you, and they'll have a quick turnaround, and they'll take care of that. But so I wanted to go ahead and get Chuke's opinion. He hasn't owned this in a while. He actually owned one of his own, so I'm gonna go ahead and let him shoot it a little bit and get his opinions on it. So, did you want to shoot the 220 first or 1911?
Shoot the 1911 first.
All right. So, go ahead.
Shoot low. Oop.
Yep.
What do we got there? Double
That
feed?
is a no. Basically, the magazine springs suck.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's one of the things. Even though I have Chip McCormick magazines, they got a shooting star follower, which is a tilting follower. Some of these pistols can be sensitive to tilting followers depending on how broken in they are from my experience. Some people say regardless, you're going to have issues with it. Obviously, I only had one malfunction with the Wilson Combats, and that was the first one. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
All right, see if I can get it to work.
Yeah. Put your thumb on top of the safety, and then you can cinch down in order to get a lot of pressure.
It's a little low for me, but I like it.
Yeah, you're shooting low.
Yeah, probably that.
Yeah.
I like it though. All right, let's try the P220.
I think the P220's got a really nice single action. Obviously, it's broken in being a police trade-in, but yeah, it is what it is. So.
Yeah, I'd love 1911s, but I would probably choose the P220 over it. You know, it's more of a $1,000 gun the new ones go for.
But a police trade-in is nice and broken in, and typically
Yeah.
they make them, depending if it was a personal purchase or not, they typically take care of them a little better and make sure they're actually up to working, because commercially you kind of get screwed by Sig, let's be honest here. So, you know, just because it's the name doesn't mean they're not playing shady games.
Yeah.
So yeah, even so, I would go with a police trade-in 220 or a used one that's you know, got a reputation for working. You can just replace springs for like what, $10, and you're good to go. Again, they're typically going to last you a long time, anyways. So
I prefer the trigger for carry too. I don't have to worry about the safety or anything.
yeah, that's something you can train on, and once you get time on it, you can time it properly, and everything will be, you know, good to go. But if you don't want to have to sit there and work on it, or double action just comes more naturally, then obviously it's a better issue. It's a better choice. But yeah, so that's pretty much my little field review of the Sig 220.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. The only thing is the mags kind of suck compared to 1911 mags, and you can't use the larger hollow points. But otherwise, I think it's a superior gun for sure.
No, you could probably use the larger hull point depending on mag springs and, you know, the different guns, because they're not all made the same. That's why you get lemons and stuff. But I mean, who knows? There's so many variables going on there.
Yeah.
but it depends on the malfunctions you're having to diagnose what's going on. But yeah, I mean, there's still some, you know, wiggle room on having to mess with it unnecessarily. What most people would consider unnecessarily. But anyways, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
I vote for P220.
All right. Thanks a lot for watching, and you guys have a good one.